Welcome to the Great Basin Smoke Dispersion Briefing for Wednesday, February 26th. Over the last 30 days, we've seen precipitation mainly across the eastern half of the Great Basin, especially across Idaho and Wyoming. Some of these areas have seen precipitation above normal for the last month. However, most areas of the Great Basin have seen below normal precipitation, especially over western Nevada into the Sierra and all of California. Looking at new snowfall over the last 72 hours, we've seen snowfall mainly across Idaho and Wyoming a few days ago and even further south into the central Utah mountains. Our snow depth is shown in the image on the right, and our highest snow depth is over parts of the north and eastern areas of the basin. Looking at our current snowpack, you can see some of these areas are near normal for the time of year. Only a few areas now are just above normal. However, snowpack has been deteriorating over the last few weeks. Our lowest snowpack is still over western Nevada into the Sierra, where snowpack is around 50% of normal. Looking at our evaporative demand drought index, we have no significant drought concerns across the Great Basin. However, we do have some drier spots over southern areas of Nevada into the Arizona Strip, and then further west into California. Looking at our satellite image from this morning, you can see still a ridge of high pressure off the west coast, keeping conditions fairly quiet across the Great Basin. However, we will see a change of pattern as we approach the weekend. Again, our weather pattern for later today shows that ridge in place, so we will see warm and dry conditions with generally light winds. We may see some cloud cover move across parts of Idaho into Wyoming near a system that's moving by well to the north. Otherwise, dispersion will remain quite poor across the Great Basin over the next couple of days due to these light winds under the ridge of high pressure. So again, transport winds not showing anything significant. We do have some breezy winds over parts of western Wyoming, again near that system that's well off to the north. Mixing heights generally remain low to moderate across the area. As we move into Thursday, very little change. We will see temperatures continue to warm through the next couple of days, with our warmest temperatures on Thursday and Friday, and will be well above normal for the time of year. Again, very dry conditions and poor dispersion expected through this week. Light winds remain on Thursday with the exception of far western Wyoming, and mixing heights again in the low to moderate range. On Friday, that ridge starts to move further east across the Great Basin as low pressure drops south off the west coast. So still quiet conditions on Friday. Again, we will see maybe a shift of westerly winds and a slight increase over western Nevada, but for the most part, warm and dry conditions across the region with poor dispersion. Looking at the transport winds, the image on the left, you can see a slight increase in winds over far western Nevada and the Sierra, but those stronger winds will remain further north up into Oregon on Friday. Again, these are in advance of the next cold front that's moving in. So mixing heights will start to increase over the western areas of the basin and remain low over eastern areas on Friday. Looking at the forecast clearing index for Utah for the next few days, this next cold front will not impact Utah through Friday, so we will see low clearing indices generally statewide for the next few days. We will have a few exceptions in the higher terrain of the Uinta Mountains and also over parts of central Utah on Thursday with a slight increase in winds, but for the most part fairly low. Not expecting any precipitation across the area, with the exception of far western Wyoming, again near that system that's moving by to the north. As we move through the weekend, however, we will see more significant changes. As the cold front moves in on Saturday, we will see precipitation moving into Idaho, northwest and western Nevada, along with gusty winds and temperatures beginning to drop. So we will see improved dispersion on Saturday as that system moves in. As we move into Sunday, that precipitation pushes further to the south and east, and most areas of the Great Basin should see at least a little bit of light precipitation from this cold front and certainly a drop in temperatures. The only areas that may not see much of any precipitation would be the far southern areas of Nevada into the Arizona Strip. They will at least see cooler temperatures, and we will see those gusty winds move into the south on Sunday. Temperatures will drop anywhere from 15 to 20 degrees or more as we move through this weekend, with highs only reaching the 40s and 50s over the northern areas of the Great Basin and still remaining in the 60s down south. We will have again good dispersion on Sunday with that cold front moving through. On Monday, that cold front moves through and we see a wind shift to the north and northeast. Winds will remain breezy on Monday, therefore we will see good dispersion and maybe a few showers left in the northern areas up towards Idaho into Wyoming. On Tuesday, a ridge of high pressure starts to build again off the west coast with another quick system moving across parts of Idaho and Wyoming and northern Utah, so those areas may see a little bit more precipitation towards the early portion of next week. Otherwise, good dispersion with those winds still remaining breezy on Tuesday. You can see the amount of precipitation expected over the weekend on the Great Basin. Again, most areas will see at least some light precipitation with the exception of far southern Nevada, parts of the Arizona Strip, and parts of southern Utah. We will see, again, some decent snowfall up into the Sierra and into the higher terrain of northern Utah, Idaho, and Wyoming. And even down in the valleys, we will likely see a change from rain to snow for a period of time this weekend. Looking at our 8 to 14 day outlook, taking us from March 4th through the 10th. As we move through the month of March, right now it looks like a more progressive system, so we will see cold fronts moving through every 3 to 5 days or so across the Great Basin as we go through the month of March. So we may see that precipitation shift to above normal over southern and eastern areas and some of the many areas of the Great Basin that have been very dry recently. That concludes our webcast for today. Check back on Friday for the latest updates.